Hey, how you doing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new show here on the Universe Comic Con Network. In my corner with myself, Mark Ash, and our first guest on this episode, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, the assassin, Wes Harper. Now, Wes, you know I come out of professional wrestling where I got my start, and the assassin sounds like a name that we would use. And so, how did that moniker come to be?
You know, I didn't coin myself a fan. A fan reached out, and every time I made a post, he would say, "Boy, that dude's like an assassin. Every time he goes out hunting, he comes back with food." Nice. And so he kept hashtagging me every time. And then one time I said, "Okay, let me follow up with that," and I hashtagged it. And then the fan clubs picked up on it, and from that minute on, I was the assassin.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Absolutely. So now I know you and I talked on a podcast, which is still available on Spotify. If you look up me, Mark Ash Celebrity Podcast, we talked a little bit about Snake and Afraid, which we'll probably rehash a little bit of that today too. But you've always been in survival. For the way best I can remember from the podcast. I mean, it has been a few months back.
Yeah, I've always been an outdoors guy.
So what led you to go to Naked and Afraid? I know we mentioned it on the podcast, but my memory's a little foggy.
I stumbled on the first show. And was just captured by it. My wife and I watched it together, and then it was our routine every Sunday. And then I started, bitching at the TV, telling them armchair quarterbacking, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and screaming at the TV. And then one day, my wife got out her laptop, and she filled out an application for me.
Nice.
And it must have been in the right place at the right time, because the next day I got a call from California.
Nice.
And a year later, I was in Brazil.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was very fortuitous how it happened. And it all came from just being a fan of the show and watching and thinking, yeah, I could really do that.
And I remember your first time you went out. I mean, I can't remember who your partner was, because you've been on, I think, 4 different times, I believe.
I've been on 5 times.
5 times, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Jesse.
And I know she tapped out and left you there alone, and then COVID brought it into your
with
challenge.
Suzanne.
Okay, yeah.
Suzanne in Ecuador in the cloud forest.
Gotcha. Okay, so I had the order of them backed up. Okay,
that's fun.
Yeah,
there've been a few of them now.
Okay, gotcha.
That's fair.
But yeah, I remember you were there. You were toughing it out on your own, and they came to you and said they had to get you out immediately because the borders were being shut down. So
yeah, they were closing the country.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a surprise to me. Obviously, they documented it really well. The emotional roller coaster I was on, knowing that I couldn't actually finish a challenge, and then flip-flopping to worrying about my family back home.
Right.
For something that I didn't really know was going on in the world.
Right.
Because I was immune from news.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that was a wild roller coaster. It took a lot of time to get out of Ecuador. The things actually that I can't even talk about getting out of Ecuador. But I finally got back home. And, thrust into the world of COVID like everybody else. Into the madness.
Yeah, it was definitely madness.
Yeah.
It still is. I mean, I was at the doctor last week, and they were all masked up like 2020 again. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I said, y'all know my medical problems. That's why I'm here. I'm not putting it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, And then I know you've done. Frozen was definitely a good one. We should talk about that here in just a little bit. But that Back to Africa one, I mean, that was a good series.
It made for really good TV.
It did. I mean,
it made for really good TV. But I tell you, it wasn't much fun participating in that.
Really?
No.
I was gonna say. I mean, through the Comic Cons and stuff, and trying to talking to different Naked and Afraid personalities, I've become kind of friendly with some of the ones that are on that one. Gwen being one of them, and she was your partner, and y'all had no problem banishing people on that series.
No, we were in lockstep on most everything.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Gwen seems to be a super nice lady.
She's great,
and
she's great. I talked to her yesterday.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we continue to have a relationship.
Gotcha.
You know, talk to her probably once a week.
I know I was supposed to go see her when her and her husband went around the country because she went to Myrtle Beach for a week or so, and I was my wife and I were supposed to go down and have dinner with her, and of course my medical condition had a flare up. It's kind of killed us. The second thing we were supposed to film today. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But that's it. We're still working. We're still gonna get it done, and we're gonna push through. Cause I mean the last scenes are just for the most part me and you anyway. From this point on, so. So we'll get it done, and now Naked and Afraid, the Frozen one.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I love cold weather. I mean, my wife will tell you, it's 20 degrees outside. I put the windows up, and and it put fans in the windows. So I mean, so how did you deal with the cold compared to the heat, and which would you prefer? If it was
I
a
hated
preference?
the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely detest the cold. That was the one challenge I said I would never do, and they asked me to do it, and I said yes. I mean, I think it was a bit of, you never know if you're ever going to get asked again, so you hate to say no. And they asked me if I do it, I said yes, but I detest the cold. I can't stand being cold because it's relentless. There's no breaks from it. You know, it's like mosquitoes. They don't stop.
Right.
And the cold's the same way. You cannot recover from the cold.
Right. I feel the same about heat.
Yeah. People are usually one way or the other.
Exactly. So it's like I can do a lot of my outside film work in the fall, winter, and early spring before it gets hot.
Right.
Because I mean, trust me, Eastern North Carolina's killing me. I can imagine what South Africa would do to me.
When Gwen and I were South Africa, it was 125 degrees. A ground temperature of like 145 degrees. And it felt like a hot summer in North Carolina.
I mean,
I was chilling. I was fine with the heat. It just felt like being home for me.
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine that's Marine, spent a lot of time in the Middle East. He's the same way, because we're the exact opposite. We get fishing in the summer, and he's all happy and cozy, and I'm over here cramping up and dehydrated so bad from sweating. In the first probably 10 minutes I was out there, and then we go out catfishing in middle of December or January, and he's wondering how I ain't shivering and moaning up like he is, and I'm running around with sleeves on.
Yeah, but Frozen Challenge, it was tough because you were always battling the cold, and then you really couldn't be out of your shelter for too long at any time. So when you weren't out of your shelter doing something, it was kind of, it was I don't want to say boring, but there wasn't a whole lot to do,
Right.
except for some bushcraft in there.
Right.
Your whole focus was to stay warm and then try to eat something.
Right.
Just stay warm, try to eat something.
And where was the Frozen one filmed at? I'm trying to remember.
It was in Montana.
What
Close to Yellowstone.
What kind of food are you guys getting there?
I ate ants, mostly.
Okay.
I mean, I ate a lot of ants, and then we caught a couple crayfish. That was Sarah. She made a really good crayfish trap. We caught it. We ate that, and Jermaine managed to snare a rabbit.
Okay.
But that was pretty much it. I mean, that and a few little rose hips, juniper berries, which made me nauseous. So there wasn't a whole lot to eat. It was a quick one, only 14 days, but I still lost like 25 pounds. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, Montana, not a place I can recall having been in a long time.
Don't recommend it in March. How about
So
that?
I'm gonna say, I can't. Humidity. I'm gonna say humidity plays a big part in a lot of stuff too. Because I can go to places that really have low to no humidity and withstand much higher temperatures than I can in Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then what a lot of people don't realize is the humidity will still suck the water out of you even in cold weather. So I mean, so how humid was? I mean, how was humidity like in Montana?
I didn't notice humidity really in Montana. I noticed shivering in Montana, which just burns calories like crazy.
Absolutely.
Humidity was terrible in Africa, and it was terrible in Ecuador, even though it was raining 9 inches a day. It was still that it still sucked it out of you,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Brazil was unbelievable with the heat and humidity, just taking every ounce of energy and water out of your system. So yeah, I mean it plays a definite factor for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, it's humidity. Like I said, humidity is what we found gets us. Because my wife and I went somewhere, and she was about to fall over from the heat, and she's like, "Now at home, you wouldn't be running circles around me like you are here." And that's what we kind of put together from.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, there's no humidity. We were in the middle of the desert."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm
And
just-
North Carolina's
Yeah, so
it's
that's
hard on humidity.
So that's kind of where we came down. I was like, it's the humidity, because I was thinking about getting infrared saunas. Yeah, when I was training hard, like around 2016, 2017 still,
Right.
I'd sit in 165 degrees for 45 minutes. And I'm like, but yet 70, 71, 72 outside is killing me. What's, I'm just putting things together. Eventually you put two and two together. It's what it is getting you. It's,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can't be in North Carolina and be afraid to sweat. That's for sure.
Like I said, I talked about it on another documentary that's available. I mean, so I'm not hiding my symptoms here. Dysautonomia. I'm very sensitive to heat, and but I think it's more humidity than true heat. But and that's the thing. It's great.
Oh yeah,
It's
it'll
great.
work. It'll work on you. It'll work on you for sure.
Now you had I know we didn't want to talk a whole lot about it, but we did say we mentioned it. You were a cancer survivor. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Or?
Sure. Prostate cancer runs in my family. All the men in my family have had it, and I got a very aggressive form of it. And it was diagnosed actually because of my naked and afraid challenges and our health checkups that we have to do. That was kind of clued us off that I had it. And I got on it quick, got it early, removed, cancer free, it done. I'm fine now. I'm back to 100%. But it was like a year to a year and a half long process of recovering from the surgery and everything to get everything back. But fortunately, got into it early, found it early, realized that it was a fast-growing cancer, and so they were able to get it out and take care of it and get me back.
Well, trust me, I myself, and I know my wife, she's met you and talked to you previously. We're definitely glad you're still here. And
I
everything
appreciate
taken
it. I viewed it just like another challenge, though.
Mm-hmm.
When I got the diagnosis, I was like, all right, I felt sorry for myself for 24 hours. Poor me type crap. And then I was like, all right, well, this is your next challenge, Wes. Let's figure out how to get past it. And one of my motivating factors, which is very silly, of course, being there for my wife and my kids and, all that, was I knew I had more naked and afraid challenges I wanted to do.
Right.
And I was like, if I'm going to get back out there, I've got to recover from this and beat it and move on. And since the cancer, I've done 2 challenges since then. So I'm rocking and rolling now.
Oh, absolutely. I was in my younger days. I can tell you, I was in a car accident. They think I was going to survive through the night. It was head trauma, which probably has led to dysautonomia. From what the specialists are telling me now.
Right.
And it was on May 17th, and I was back in the ring on July 4th. It's obviously well against doctor orders and everything else, but the thing was, like you say, I looked at it as a no match. That's where I want to be. You're not stopping me.
Yeah, you have to have the right attitude.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So, you seem to have the same attitude. If you're going to beat me, you're going to have to beat me. So.
I did the Frozen Challenge 6 months after my surgery.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my scars were still fresh. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say hi to my buddy Pete Noel, who may be watching this. We finally found somebody as crazy as we are, pal.
Yeah. Oh man.
So now let's talk a little bit about your cookbook,
Sure.
which I'm gonna put the graphics for your website down here at the bottom of it, wesharper.com. Is that correct?
That is
Okay.
wesharper.com.
So we'll get that put up on there, and so tell us a little bit about your cookbook, because I haven't actually. I know we've been in an event together where you had one there, but I didn't get a chance to physically look at it there.
I love to cook. Not only on the grill, but in the kitchen. And when I was a little kid, I was fascinated. My mom taught me how to make bread when I was a child. And I've always loved being in the kitchen. And I was the cook for my kids growing up. And I just have a love for it. And so one day I just kind of started putting recipes together. And then I thought, this might make a decent book. And so that started the labor of love of putting a cookbook together, which anything you do like that takes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
And I was sick of it by the time I was done, because it takes all your effort. But I still love to cook, and I still refer to my own damn cookbook when I'm cooking some of those meals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I still get it out. But the cookbook is cool. It's on my website, wesharper.com. It's cheap, and there's lots of pictures of a lot of survivalists in there with me from the show. And so that's good. But I've also been doing a lot of other things, I mean, I've been making appearances and doing motivational talks to people. I actually did a white collar event talking to financial advisors a month ago.
Oh, nice.
And so, I mean, so my interests and what I'm into really has a pretty broad range right now.
Yes.
But certain things keep pulling me back.
Right.
Right. Certain things keep pulling me back. I love making and afraid. I love cooking in the cookbook, and I love meeting with people. And and I still have a day job.
Mm-hmm.
I own an IT company.
Right.
I work every day, all day, with my IT company, and then during my breaks and weekends and evenings, I'm a survivalist, author, cancer survivor, motivational speaker.
Right.
So it's full days for sure.
Absolutely.
It's full days.
I know. I tried to get a hold of you during the week. I know.
During the week is tough. That's probably how my wife and I stumbled on the show, is because at the end of the day, collapse on the couch and have a beer and a glass of wine, and all of a sudden, just trying to wind down for the day.
Absolutely. That's kind of myself and my wife's Sunday night rituals, Naked and Afraid, and then flip over to another channel, Evil Lives Here Inside the Psychopaths. I mean, cause
Sure.
I like the medical. I mean, I like the crime drama stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's,
Absolutely.
so it's but what kind of new projects you got coming up that you can talk about?
I'm currently working on a project. I can't really talk about it too much. It's in that same realm. I'm behind the scenes mostly, and that's about all I can say.
Okay.
I'm continuing the journey, but it's a completely different project, and it's going to be huge. But I'm locked in right now.
Okay.
I'm locked down right now. I'd love to just sit here and tell all about it, but I can't for another couple months.
No, that's fine. I trust me. I understand. I mean, right now, a filmmaker buddy of mine. I mean, he sent me a script yesterday just to help him do some readings on some auditions, through Zoom. And I mean, I have signed NDA just to see the script. So yeah, I get it. There's things you got to keep close to the vest. So.
Very familiar with an NDA.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand. So fans, they're watching. That's why I can't push him when he says he can't talk about it. There are legal recourses on this stuff.
Yeah. We'll take a pass for now, but when I can, I will.
I got you. We'll get you on another podcast or another episode. We'll get you back.
All right.
So,
that's a deal.
Absolutely. And now, I don't know if you guys are the only two. But yourself and Trish Belinsky, her daughter and your son went into the challenge together. Now, as far as I know, y'all are the only two that's had children go on the show.
Yeah, that's never been done before.
Okay, and
yeah,
I know we talked a little bit about it on the podcast, and we talked about how Julia, right?
Julia and Waylon.
Yeah, Julia. I saw her. I know Julia was at one of my Comic-Cons too. So. But she, I think Waylon got a little bit demotivated there at one point, and she kind of kicked him in the rear. We talked about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he will readily admit to that. He got down in the head, and he was circling out of control, and she kicked him in the ass, and then he snapped out of it and was able to do the challenge. He didn't enjoy any aspect of it, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do it, hearing my stories and see if he could do it. And so he did. Super proud of him for jumping in there and finishing it out at the end. But I don't think he'll ever want to do another one. He just didn't have the love of it that I do.
The thing I noticed, with him and Julia, that I've noticed on many other Naked and Afraid, there ain't too many people get frog that don't get sick.
Yeah, frog versus toad
Yeah.
is a big deal.
Is that-
Frogs are good, toads are poisonous.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he was ill the whole time, and when he got home, I think he was actually a little mad at me for, I don't know, maybe for glamorizing what it's like when you're out there,
Right.
when it's really actually quite miserable. It's wonderful and quite miserable. And so I mean, it's been a couple years now. He's recovered. He still likes me. I love him. You know, we get along. But yeah, I mean, he did a good job. I'm proud of him. And he's still an outdoors guy. You know,
Right.
he continues to do hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, the same stuff he did when I took him when he was 5 years old.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna see him on another day.
Well, no, I mean, because the way you said it, I think you said it kind of into that. You know, when I'm talking back to the way I call them exit interviews is the way I call them. I mean, behind the scenes talk. You know, he did say this is more my dad's passion than.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. But you know what? I've always said never say never, because anytime I'm done with the challenge, the next day I say I'll never do another one. That's it, done, retired. And then after a period of time goes by, it creeps back in on you.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, man, I just gotta get out there again. You know, get me out there. And so never say never. You never know if he'll get back out there or not. But the day after the challenge, I would say no, he wasn't going to. No.
Well, I understand completely because I mean my neck and upper back problems, as far as pain wise, kind of kicked in around 2004, and I kind of did an official retirement match, and you know kept saying never. Probably about 5 to 6 months later, one of my promoter friends called me and says, "Hey, I want you to come do something for me on the show." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you can be in the ring, you're wrestling." And just me didn't even think about it. Okay, when, you know, and then I kept going 2013. You know.
Oh yeah, it creeps back in. It
Yeah.
does. I'm desperate to do another challenge.
You're right.
You know, and after the last one, I swore never again. And now I'm itching.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the phone to ring, looking at emails. I hope I get one more opportunity just to kind of close it out. I'm not getting any younger.
Right. Here's the crazy thing about Naked and Afraid to me. You know, like I said, we watch it religiously now, but I had never watched a single episode until kind of early last year or late 2022. I had a friend who was staying with me. He was helping me, you know, recover from the spinal surgery I had and stuff I had, you know, because my wife would be away at work, and that was the last thing we needed was me taking a dog out and falling and passing out or something while, you know, in a spinal recovery.
Right.
And he put it up on demand, started watching, and then I got hooked. You know, my wife she was like an on and off watcher, so she was familiar with some of it, and and we've been hooked from there. So it's like, that's why I say when I get the order of something wrong, it's the way I watch it. I didn't watch them all in order. So you know,
the show's like crack. You get a little taste of it, and you can't turn it off. It's just like watching a car wreck. You know, you don't want to look, but you have to.
Yeah.
I'm still the same way. I've done 5 challenges. It's been 10 years, you know, of being on TV. I still watch every Sunday.
Right.
I'm still a maniac. I'm still yelling at the TV. The whole deal. Nothing has changed at all.
Yeah. Now this week's going to be another. What I saw in the guide, it's going to be another fan challenge, 14-day fan challenge. It says they go 10 days without food, so that's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic stays together if nobody can sit
Been there. Been there. But something that's I find kind of neat is when you do your first challenge, you don't know what you're capable of. And so every day you're making, this is a mile mark of what you can handle.
Right.
And so on your second challenge, you already know you can handle a certain amount. And so you surpass that, and then every day is new.
Right.
So since on Frozen, I didn't eat for the first 10 days. But I had already been starving on previous challenges, so I knew what my body would do.
Right.
I knew I could make that.
Right.
Now on day 11, I was really hungry. But up through day 10, I'd already had that experience. And so I was like, I'm good. Then I crossed over into uncharted territory on day 11.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah.
So everybody's first challenge, everything is so new. All the suffering is so new. that I really feel for them, especially fan challenges. Like my heart goes out to them because I remember vividly, my first day getting stung and stepping on sharp sticks and puncturing and getting cut and freezing to death at night.
Yes.
And you don't know what you're capable of until you're capable of it and have done it. And then
Right.
and then it's the next thing. You keep growing, you keep building your abilities. So yeah, I feel for first timers.
I mean, my first challenge right off the bat would be insertion, just because I'm somebody that just never went barefoot. I just never did it.
Oh yeah.
So when I'm stepping on rocks, pebbles, sharp thorns, and this, and that, that's going to be a challenge for me out of the gate. So that, at least that aspect of it,
Can you imagine mentally your first 3 steps? You step on a cactus, and then so now your foot hurts, and you're only 3 minutes into the challenge. That mental torment there is incredible. Now after you've done that, the next challenge you step on one, you go, well, damn it, here we go again. You're like, okay, I've been there, done that, so let's push forward. But the first time is the deal. That's the one I think you remember forever.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Which is like wrestling. Everybody don't realize it's the chair shots. They're 100% legit. There's just no faking a metal folding chair. You get your head across the back.
With a chair.
So we just smack with the chair. Yeah, and you always remember that first one more than you remember the rest of them, because
100%.
Yep.
100%.
And after you've had that first one, you can take it.
Right.
Because that made or broke you right there. So.
Yeah.
Which is why I think when the hardcore stuff started to creep in, I did the following thumbtacks one time. I went in the bags, told the promoter, I said, you had to have zeros to the left side of the decimal point. You want me to do that again?
Yeah. No.
But the thing about it, God, what's so weird about that, so they didn't use the thumbtacks with the plastic ends. They used the all metal ones, for the round.
Oh yeah.
It's not even the ones that stick in you that hurt so bad. It's the ones that were on their side.
Oh, okay.
That was the ones that really hurt.
Yeah.
The ones that stuck in you weren't that bad.
Yeah.
But because those broke in, they didn't go in your skin. Your body didn't take the injection. Like a needle. So those were the ones that really hurt.
Yeah. You can have all-day survival. You can have
But
it.
trust me, the younger kids want to do it all the time now. They can have it. That's why I'm no longer doing it. So
Understood.
It's a younger man's game at this point. When I go to a wrestling show these days, I'm usually doing like color commentary, that type of stuff for their TV programs.
I understand that completely. Yes, absolutely.
So now, like I said, your cookbook's available at wesharper.com. And if
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not mistaken, it's also available on Amazon.
Yeah.
Is it available through any other outlets that we don't know about? Or?
A couple different retailers have it out there, but they're probably just local to where I live.
Okay.
Lake Gaston. But no, Amazon and wesharper.com.
Okay.
And that's where, we got t-shirts,
Absolutely.
hats and coffee cups and wristbands going on. So I've got some stuff for the fans that really want some memorabilia.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. And trust me, I got a lot of Naked Afraid t-shirts because about everybody's come out with ones released them, so I've ended up with them at some point.
Oh yeah.
Acquiring quite a few of them. So now.
Yeah, I've got a closet full.
And of course, since I started making that Bigfoot movie, I started getting Bigfoot t-shirts thrown at me about 3 months.
There you go. Nice.
And let's talk about that just for a minute, because the scenes we had to shoot the first half because you got caught in a kind of a COVID quarantine again.
Right.
So we shot. You really played Bigfoot through the whole movie, but we ended up shooting the first part of the movie with a stand-in for you. But what's coming up for that Bigfoot movie is going to be like our confrontation. Finally, because the detective's going to bring the Bigfoot hunter in, which I'm playing on that. So we're going to finally have our confrontation, and of course the finale. And as I won't throw any spoilers out there as to what it is, but I mean, you guys know how Bigfoot, Freddy, Jason, and all the movies ever end. That you never know if it's truly over or not. So it's one of those things that we'll have some fun with it that day.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. No, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. Because I got, there's not going to be much. You ain't got a script to memorize because, what little bit of talking will be done will just be me because you're Bigfoot, obviously. Yeah. And, it's good. Yeah. And hopefully we're going to have a young man that you were telling me about involved in that for that day as well. 'Cause Because what we're going to do, he's going to be like my apprentice. I'll give this much away. He's going to be like my apprentice that decides to take off in the woods ahead of me against better judgment from me, and of course that leads to our finale. So
Yeah.
so.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. I got the perfect young man for it.
Yeah, and I bet you miss killing the two young teenage girls that in a drug dealer.
I do like a good slashing.
Like I said, the first night we shot, Bigfoot killed 2 teenage girls and a drug dealer. So,
Wow.
yeah, so.
All right. Well, one less drug dealer, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, so what man our age wouldn't enjoy that?
No, that's good. That's just good fun. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Wes, I want to thank you for your time, buddy, and we're going to plug you, wesharper.com, definitely. I'm working on some local appearances in the Raleigh area for myself and Wes to appear on as well. So, because I know he wants to promote his book and some other, naked and afraid items, and of course, I've got all the wrestling and some of the movie memorabilia from the stuff I've done, and wrestling memorabilia. And Wes, I'm gonna say it was great having you, especially as our first guest, brother. I mean, it's
I appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun seeing you.
Absolutely.
Chatting about stuff.
Absolutely, and you're same with you, man, because we got I mean, we're about the same age. We got a lot of stories to tell,
More every day, it sounds like.
But the problem is we're over 50. We can't really remember.
Let's not talk about that part.
All right. So we will. Our next episode. I don't want to say for sure, but our next episode will probably be for those of you who remember the old 1970s Adam West Batman series. Right now we're looking at having Karen Whitfield, who was Batgirl on that series. We should have her as our next guest. We'll probably have some more Naked and Afraid guests as well, because believe it or not, southeastern North Carolina, there's a few more that are local here that we don't even have to worry about traveling to for the most part. So. And all right, guys, we'll see you next time on Universe Comic Con.